That's my microphone. Microphone, headset. Yeah, got that one sorted. Speaker, headset, earphone. Yeah, try that. Hello? I can't hear you. I can't hear you at the moment. Don't know what I've done here. Hang on.
That's it. Can you hear me? No. Can't hear you. Don't know. Oh dear, I can't. Can you hear me? Why can't I hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. What happened there then?
Don't know. You just got, if the red light's on, it means you're not hearing people.
Oh,
and
right.
Gordon's in communication.
Hello.
Oh,
Can
my
you hear me,
goodness.
Dave?
Oh, hello. Good morning.
Morning, Carol. Can you hear me,
Morning.
David?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
The little box lights up as well.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Can you hear my fish, David?
No.
Can you hear my squeaky chair, David?
No.
I'm wonderful to you, aren't I?
Yeah, all these months I've been hearing fish tanks, squeaky chairs. I'm looking out the window thinking, what's going on here?
Good morning.
I'm carrying on regardless.
Morning.
Working my way through the...
You're a bit quiet, Dave.
Oh.
Who?
You.
Never.
Yeah.
It's your
You're really loud.
Yeah, well, it is shouting.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't think...
I'll keep him under control now.
I might be quiet because I've got a cup of tea, so I've pushed the microphone away from my face a bit. But
oh, yeah,
I'm looking at the little. That's what I thought. But I can looking at the test bar, and it's going quite good. Hello, Dave.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's that's distorted, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I stuck it in my mouth. That didn't work.
You did.
Yeah, I saw you do that.
Ugh, not very pleasant.
Can't recommend it.
No, don't go there. I don't. Well, it's a new microphone and a new headset, so I can't spend any more. I've had enough.
Not sure about the microphone though.
It was all right. Leave him alone.
What?
I've been listening to him on my telephone, and it's fine.
Thanks, mate.
The speakers might have gone in my computer then.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
Everybody else sounds all right though.
Oh, that's all right.
I can't hear the fish tank. That's one thing.
Who's coming now? Joyce, is it?
That was no.
Pauline, I'm here. Can you? Oh, hello, Pauline. Hi. No, I can't see you. Oh. Oh, hang on. I'll put my little boxes. That's it. I can see you.
Yeah, we're all here now.
No, Joy. Oh, it's Joyce.
Yeah, she's just turning up now. Oh, Joyce! that's from the old days of Bournemouth Gardens. I must have told you this 1,000 times. I apologise in advance. But when we used to just get there and set up, you just I used to get there like 8:30 to open up and that, and there was always Carol New and Stella Hardy, and they used to come in like together because they travelled there together, and as they're walking up past the bird aviary and I'd be at the end there setting up, and all of a sudden we'd look round and it was like, morning, morning, and then everyone that was there setting up, all of a sudden you get this like chorus of morning, morning, morning. It was a slight take the mickey, but but it ended up being the normal greeting in the morning, like these things do. Joyce is back. She's been out gallivanting.
Yeah.
Gallivanting. That's a good
I
word.
have indeed. Yes,
Where have
I
you
was.
been?
I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure if it was gallivanting.
Might
Well,
be pro-
last week, WI were having a mini event, and I did some jelly printing.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That sounds
interesting. What's that?
Well, I saw it a while ago on YouTube, and it's you have this sort of, it's called a jelly plate, and it's actually a sort of like a rubbery plate made from gelatin, and you can put acrylic paint on it and various designs, and then you can print off cards or papers or whatever. And I desperately wanted to give it a go, so the opportunity came up, and I did. The only thing is, I was quite hooked on it, but the jelly plates are awfully expensive. So I've been trying to do some on Perspex, because I have seen it done on Perspex. So I've had some mixed results. So it's all been very exciting.
Can you
Bit
show
of an
us?
adventure.
Can you show us anything?
I could show you some. I'll show you the first ones that I did, and these were with very runny acrylic.
That's different.
Okay,
Yeah.
and a bit abstract. You can obviously add other things to them.
I've lost you now. I can't see it.
Oh,
Oh.
oh,
I spotlighted it for everyone.
Oh, hang on then.
okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
And quite liked this particular one. I thought that turned out a bit better. And bearing in mind that I printed them on card, and unfortunately the pre-cut cards I had were shiny, which wasn't a good thing. And then I got some that weren't shiny, and I tried them with more sticky paint, which was gouache.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And I sort of ended up with this sort of thing.
Ah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, what fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
it needs a bit of work. So experimental at the moment, I think is what
Yeah.
you'd say.
I've only just got you back, Joyce. Can you show me that movie one again?
The movie one, right?
You
I
have to
just
change
thought
the
of it.
view to speaker view. Can you see her now, Chris?
Yeah, I've got her on a little box. Oh, that's lovely.
You should have her on a big box.
Really
But
good.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's good fun.
Yeah. Oh, you have to
Definitely good fun.
how do you know which is the right way up?
Well, it's like
That's not
this,
negative.
Dave.
I'm just asking.
No, the card opens up like that.
Ah, gotcha.
But I could also, if I felt like it,
Could
do
go
it, you know.
portrait, yeah.
Yeah, I could do.
I think it's
Sorry, did you just paint the picture on the Perspex and then put the card on top?
I just put dabs of paint on, and I have I've got a brayer, and sometimes I use the brayer, other times I just use a paintbrush, and just sort of made some patterns. But
Brayer. That's my
yes.
wife's family name, Brayer.
All right, okay.
Brayer. Brayer.
Yeah, did she invent the brayers then?
No, apparently because originally her family were escaped from Poland. It's part of the Huguenots or whatever it was, quite a while back anyway. Of course, when they come into the country, it's a bit like America. So they say, "What's your name?" And they go, "Oh, they're Oski," and they go, "Oh, well, mate, what do you do?" "Oh, I don't know if they were bakers or whatever it was." "Oh, you're now Brayer."
Right.
Quite clever.
Oh,
So that's
So what is a brayer? I don't know.
That's for Google.
Ish.
You'll have to Google it.
I will put you out of your misery. It's a roller.
I knew it's a roller. I was going to say that.
I know, but Christine wants to know, and she doesn't want to spend a week finding out.
Well, I guessed it was a roller, but I was too shy to ask. I didn't want to make out I was daft.
Oh, right.
I don't mind making out I'm daft.
And I was just going to Google it later.
That's right. Spot on.
That's it.
Oh, well, I just jumped in both feet as usual. I'm not shy. Oh, that's really good. Really, really
Line comes
lovely.
inside
It's like
that. This is line that I've drawn slightly.
Talking of good, we had some good pictures come through. Cassius Clay.
Oh, gosh.
wow, Pauline, yours was amazing.
Was it? I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hang on, I'll share the screen.
I couldn't
Yeah, I
get my
haven't-
eyes right on mine.
That was
That was
Carol's.
mine. Yeah. Oh, I spent ages with the eyes. I just
Ah.
couldn't get them right.
There ain't no
That's good
right
then.
and wrong. It's a portrait. It's down. It's like
Mm.
the more you do, the more you feel, the more you do. And like I said before, you never finish. And before I will go through the next stage before we start painting flipping wildflowers. That was the remarkable thing is that Christine's and Pauline's, Christine and Carol, definitely it's Carol's fault because I asked what should we do for what colour for the background and she said orange. So now everybody's using orange. And then of course along came I thought, oh wow.
The masterpiece.
And then it was
Yeah.
like he looks really young there. And then Carol's I thought, yeah, he looks like a young lad, you know? Brilliant stuff. And then along came bloody Pauline. It's like, oh wow.
Oh, wow.
I thought
Gosh,
should-
that's fabulous.
you captured the look in his eyes. That's what's done it.
Yeah.
But I was saying right from the
Yes.
start, he's looking at a funny angles, thinking,
Yeah.
careful
Yeah.
what you say there,
Yeah,
Mr.
he looks quite
Parkinson.
menacing, doesn't he?
he knows something that you don't, and it's probably to do with getting a clip round the ear hole.
He's looking for a fight.
No, I like that. That's a classy one. That one.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you should be.
good.
You should be well chuffed with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Today's adventure should be fun. I don't know how long it's going to last. We might. I always think to myself, "Cool, that's only going to be half hour, isn't it, or whatever."
You say that every week.
What am I going to do for the next for the rest of the morning, like you know? And then then it
Yeah, you
gets
get
12, and I'm thinking, flipping heck, we're nowhere near where we want to be yet. I've got a sort of a plan for it. I sent 3 different where's it gone? 3 images. Hang on, let me.
I've got a problem. I've only got Joyce up on my main.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
dear.
need to go back. You
I
need to
had
go
that.
back.
I pressed the little squares.
You should have everyone on there.
Yeah,
on the
but normally-
side.
I've got speaker view. I'm on speaker view.
Well, you have
But-
to change that to gallery view. Where it says view
Yeah.
at the top,
I've got gallery view. Now I've got everybody on there.
that's what you said you wanted.
No,
You've got-
That's what-
sometimes
that's right.
you've got a big
Right.
one of whoever's speaking.
You can change that yourself to speaker view, but when it's like now, there's no point because
Right.
you're just it's using up bandwidth on your model, isn't it? If you have it as gallery view, then whoever's speaking, like, it gets a little yellow green box, doesn't it, around it, and you can see them anyway.
Yeah, that green box, that green thing is around Joyce.
Yeah, mine is.
Oh, it
as
is,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
You've
yeah.
taken centre stage, Joyce.
I know. Hey ho.
Oh, hang on. The reason is it had a spotlight on you, Joyce. I've removed it now.
Oh,
I wait-
shucks.
Hmm.
I waited till you went small and then unspotted lighted you. It didn't matter anyway because
I'm back to normal now.
Chris is
But
making
I'm
me
all right,
blooming
I've got you.
seasick here. I
Yeah,
don't
she
know.
keeps wobbling up and down.
I'm trying to get it so that I've just got Dave ready for when he starts his demo.
Terry hasn't. He can't make it today.
Uh,
I spoke to him on the phone yesterday, and because it was raining, and Margaret couldn't go out yesterday, so he's going to take her out today. Didn't say where he was going, but I didn't like to ask really. Apart from the fact he did go out yesterday, and he went to he won't mind me telling you, he went to Castle Point for the phone shop for the umpteenth time to get the guy in the shop to show him how to connect to the internet and all the rest of it. And he said in the shop it's working fine. Of course, he gets home and ain't working. He said, I can't connect to you or anything. I said, yeah, because you haven't got Wi-Fi at home. You have to make sure that he sets it up so that it's using your mobile data. Oh, I'll pretend I know what you're talking about, Dave. It's a bit late now. I can't go back. I'm pretty sure Castle Point are going to get a visit today. He said I was in there for about 45 minutes yesterday. Bless him. He will get it right. What else is news? Stephen, I spoke to Stephen. He rings me at least sort of every 2 weeks. When we going back, David? When we going back? I said, and I keep telling him the same time, and he's, oh right, hang on, that's a Sunday. I said, no. Oh yeah, righto. Bless him. You just have to keep reaffirming. So that's sorted. What else? Oh, I had a bit of a. I put on my thing about I had a message turn up on my phone, and it said it was from Mark Phillips saying, "Hey Dave, I'm stuck in a flipping meeting at the moment. Can you buy this gift? I need to get this thing for this woman who's got cancer and all this full Monty." And I thought, oh, for a minute, I thought, what? And I thought, there's no way. He does go, but it all rings true because that's the sort of daft thing he would do. You know, if I'm stuck in a meeting, Dave, can you do? And I thought, but he wouldn't ask me to spend money on his behalf, buy a gift, an online gift card. So anyway, I tweaked pretty quickly. I thought, hello, here we go. He's been hacked, all his messages. And it was signed Mark Phillips as well. So somebody's got hold of his name, contact details.
Perhaps it was Captain Phillips.
Mark Phillips, no, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, but there's a Royal Mark Phillips, isn't there?
He's not royal now.
Well, was, yeah.
So anyway, I thought I'm gonna have a laugh here. So I played along to it, and I just wrote back, job done, on the message line. A few seconds later, it comes back, boom. How much? I thought, yeah, I bet you want to know how much. I put 350 pounds, £350, and it was like straight. They thought, yes, we're in. You can almost sense it on the phone. This story is going to be a bit long, and so anyway, it came back and I thought, yeah, okay. Now, what do you want me to do? So, of course, what they're saying is, if you turn the scratch card over, it's a gift card, yes, scratch card, gift card, they all got the little silver bit on the back, and if you rub it off, it's got the card code. It's like a barcode, effectively. So what they're asking me to do is scratch that off, send them the code, and if you give them the code, then they can utilize that card online. So he sent me a little paragraph saying to do this. I waited about 10-15 minutes. And then I wrote back and it just said, oh, bugger. I've just posted it off to you. It should be there Tuesday or Wednesday. Didn't hear, and it went all dead then. Didn't get anything. Anyway, that's the easy bit. I mentioned to James that I'd been you know, that I had it, and I Googled it, and other people have had the same number, that number being asking for the same sort of thing. So James said, send me the number. So I sent James the number. He said, I know what to do. And he's got a few false email accounts that he can set up, whatever, a Gumtree account, you know, a sales account somewhere else, which he's done, and advertised for sale a PlayStation 5, which are like gold dust at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
People are buying them up. You buy it for 400, put it on eBay for 750, and all this sort of thing. So he's created an advert. I don't know if it was Gumtree. I didn't want to know, Gumtree or whatever, offering one of these for sale at the original retail price plus postage, and put the contact details as that number. He said he'd done it on a few different things.
Brilliant.
And he came back to me, and he came up to me a couple hours later. He said, Dad, that bloke must be getting well, whoever that is, they must be getting well peeved off, because he logs into his account, whether it's Gumtree, and it can tell you how many people are watching, how many people. He said there was hundreds of calls going to this number.
Nice one.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice one. Yeah, nice one, Jimbo, I thought.
Absolutely.
I don't know about the legality of it or whatever, but I thought, well, probably doing something naughty. Fair play to you.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's good that you can do stuff like that, isn't it?
Mm.
Right, are you ready for some flower power then?
Yeah.
Carol, you're gonna.
oh yes.
Am I gonna like this, are we?
Well, the first part I did. Hang on, I'm all tangled up here. I don't feel very well today, actually. I checked with a COVID test this morning. It came up negative, so it's not that. It's just, I think it was, when was it? Sunday. No, what day is it? Yeah, it must have been Sunday. Emily turned up with her two little grandkiddies. Of course, I was sat in they didn't come in the house actually, but I was playing with them anyway out in the drive and that, same as it would. And so that's always a precarious thing. And then yesterday, Philippa came round with some Father's Day cake and that, and she actually came in, which I didn't mind, with little Ronnie. So that's three grandchildren playing with them, kids, and I haven't sort of been in touch with them for a while, so they're just bug machines, aren't they? So funny, today I thought, oh, I've got the runs and I feel like poo. Well, I feel yucky. So anyway, if I fall over, just, I don't know, just carry on without me. I did a sketch. This bit, I sent 3 pictures, if you recall.
Yeah.
You probably thought, what the hell's he sending me that for? Yeah.
Good wonder.
Yeah. Well, this is the original master, yeah, which is, I don't know which park it is, but it's in one of the parks. It might be Winton, could be anywhere. Could be the dodgy place. What's the Horseshoe Common? I don't know. Nah, it looks too good for that. Anyway, they planted all these wild things. And I thought, whatever, it's not going to be easy. But the thing about it is, I wanted to use it as a composite. So this is a close-up of another image that I found that somebody else put of the floral, you know, the poppy and that. I did do 2 of those printed out too, because my printer, it was a bit weak on that one. And I thought, do it again, and it was still bloody weak on that one. So I might have to make that up.
Yours does look green too.
So the idea was and this one, the third one, is a Marilyn Alice image that she posted on one of her friends on Facebook, and it wasn't for the blurb, it was for the figures.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it's a good example of adding figures. So my next task was to create a sketch incorporating all the elements within it, which is, I sat down in front of the computer actually and did that, initially with the park's big picture in. So I've got the trees in the background. Let me see. Yeah, can you just see that all right?
Yeah.
So I've got the trees. One of the things I did notice, there was a little bit of a footpath. So that was my idea. I could put the figures in the footpath. They might be a bit small. I don't know about that. In relation to the trees, I don't care. It can be Joyce can have fun with the trees with a nice contemporary type picture. And that's the big poppy from there. I've placed that in the foreground with some of the other ones. So, and the little path bit down there. So what was complex is now extremely complex. But my thinking was that it'll be a good, and obviously I'm using the two figures. I thought with the brolly, maybe it could be a sun brolly in the background or whatever, just as a guide. But I thought it's a good exercise for using for utilizing different elements from a. You got your main picture. Everyone goes, oh, well, I want to paint that, but to make it more unique and interesting, a good idea, in my mind, is to add. I used to call them props. You must have heard me say that before now. That these days, when I go out looking around driving around, I'll take a photo, not of the view, but of something in the view that I want to put in a picture at some stage later on. So this is a good way of doing it, and it makes your picture a bit more special, really, because it gives you everyone sees the props differently. So what I see as a prop, you might not, and vice versa, and you can add your bits in. If you want to put Lime Bay in the background, by all means, carry on. The Cobb at Lyme Regis, I don't know. I sold one. I did that once, and I remember selling that at Wimborne Market one Saturday afternoon, 40 quid or something. Never painted it again. Didn't really. But these, if you do a nice sketch like that, it's quite, and then you can almost sort of discard the other stuff and base what you're doing on your sketch. One thing I haven't done, but what you should do if you're doing a sketch is, just pencil in where the darks are, where you see some darks, so you know whether, put some sort of shadow or meaning on it. And I noticed on the path there's quite a dark line going up. The footpath bit is just there. I decided though I want to keep that, so if I can make it white or grey, whatever colour. The foliage at the back we're just going to have some fun with. The hard bit is deciding on how to do all this massive doodah. So you just got to just forget about it and just do whatever you decide. It is. I don't think I did check on for some videos, painting wildflower meadows and all the rest of it. Earlier on this morning, I got past about 30 seconds on 5 different videos and thought this is garbage. Just they don't know. So there is no right and wrong, really. I think there
Might
is.
it involve masking fluid?
That was the downside that I was just going to mention. I wasn't. I didn't want to upset Carol too early, really. I always thought I'd hang on for a minute.
Sorry.
As soon as you prompted me, I have actually earlier this morning. But look, Carol, I was going to do it while you were here and say, look, this can't go on. This thing you've got. Look, that's the stuff I use. Drawing gum.
Right.
And I think you've got that.
probably. Don't know what I've got
Peebo
now.
drawing gum. All I
Right.
do is I give it a good shake. Get my brush. I've got a little bit of soap.
Yeah.
Make my brush wet, and then I just swirl it around in the soap.
Right.
That's it. Just if you make your brush, just dip it in the water, then just squish it around in the salt. Salt? Why have I got? I know why. I know. It's okay. I'm not gone mad. I am saying salt, but there's a reason for that.
We're going to put that on the picture.
Ah, no.
Mm.
Anyway, so then once you've done that, then you just
Mm.
dip it in your
Right.
fluid that you've given a good stir and paint with it. Wash the brush out in clean water because the salty soap will dissolve and take the horrible masking fluid away with it. But never use a good brush. I've just used this one forever now. And then just leave it and it will dry.
Right. Okay.
On any paper. Just
I'll have another go.
but the Peebo stuff, this blue and drawing gum stuff, it's not like the normal masking fluid that you get from Winsor and Newton and that, which is really thick. This stuff is quite thin. Anyway, what I've done is masked out the big poppy thing and a few of the flowers, just so that I can have some sort of highlight. I've got two flowers over there, which I think it's going to be a bit dangerous. I think what I'll do it now, just to prove that you can rub it off, and it rubs off really quickly.
Gosh.
The only problem is it goes everywhere, doesn't it? Little bits all. So I'm going to take that and just rub it off, because I think putting it there might interfere with it might bring things in the foreground, bring things closer, so the balance won't be there. How are we going to paint it? Anybody know? The reason I must keep mentioning salt as well, because even on my desk I've got a pot of sea salt. And the reason I had that there was, shall I do it anyway? What you can, one of the things you can do, if you take your, actually I can do it, I'll do it on the top. Just bear with me 2 secs. Need a bit of, we've got to get this masking fluid issues resolved. With this pot, the lid's got like a recess in it, so you can, if you clean it. Gordon's and Anne are back from gallivanting as well, aren't they?
Sorry.
Yeah, Gordon's chatting.
No, I'm listening. I'm taking it all in. But if you take the lid, yeah, you can pour a little bit of fluid in it and then put the lid back on, so it doesn't, what's in the pot doesn't dry. And one of the things I was going to do, I'm just going to put it to one side because it's, actually I'll zoom out. I've got the technology. I'll zoom out. So I've got the pot over here. There's my little pot. And now what you can do, if you can find one, is get an old toothbrush.
He was listening.
Mask out the, cover up the bits that you don't want any on, and then just dab your toothbrush in the fluid and spatter it quickly, and let it dry. So it's another option from using a brush. The masking fluid, you can do this on waves as well. I don't bother. Well, I'm not going to bother washing that out. I don't want to dirty my water. And the beauty of that is now I've done it, I've used it, so I can unscrew the top and pour it back in. How clever is that? Can't do that with Winsor and Newton. You can leave it to dry and then it'll just come off in one big doodah. Meantime, now I've got masking fluid. Now the thing about this, the only reason I've done it is later on when you look at the image, you can use those as you rub them off as highlights. You know, there's white bits in amongst the foliage and that. So that was my thinking there. It wasn't because I thought, oh yeah, the initial thing is, yeah, if you mask them out, that could be all your flowers. Oh yeah, and you're going to spend 3 days putting all little bits back in where the flowers are, little bits of colour. Like I could imagine spending days putting little bits of blue back where all the masking fluid rubbed off. But now just use it as highlights. It does work because this piece of paper has got loads of little bumps of fluid on it now. I thought I just rubbed my fingers across it, thinking, "What the heck's that?" Of course, it's drying fluid. So that was the reason. The reason I had that was what I was going to do with this lid on this salt thing was pour the fluid in there, but I just realised you don't need to because the So yeah, that's good stuff. That should be dryish now, shouldn't it?
Dave,
Yes, darling.
you said that fluid was thinner. The Winsor Newton, when you try it with a brush, spraying it, it's very lumpy. And
Yeah.
you need to thin it probably 25% up to 50% to be able to use it with a toothbrush, by the way.
Yeah, I can't. You'll have to ring Newton up. And
No, I'm not complaining. If the others have got Winsor Newton, you need to add a few drops of water to it.
Yeah.
Well,
or dip your toothbrush in the water first, and
yeah.
I think that's what I did with that. Yeah, good point though. Top of the class. Give that
Thank you.
That's 2
Can I have a gold star for that?
That's another jam donut I owe you. I'm off donuts at the moment.
Oh.
No, only temporary. It's not permanent madness. It's just that yesterday Philippa turned up with a Father's Day. She said I couldn't get a jam donut, so I got one of these, and it's a real cream one of those long turbo shaped ones. I couldn't let it go. I had to eat it. Oh my! And it's
the cream that's upset you.
I don't know. It was too nice. I couldn't resist that. Palette colours wise, look at this. How clean am I? I know. I can feel the envy from here, even online. I can sense it. This is the same palette that I've been using for the last few weeks, actually. With the portrait, it's becoming my portrait palette, but I haven't filled it up at all. I haven't replaced any of the colours because I'm waiting for it to be used up so that I can install these new ones that I bought. Remember, it was cadmium lemon, rose, Naples flesh, mocha, which is a sort of browny colour, peach, and sand. Well, dunes they call it, which I'm putting in there, and that's going to be my palette for portraits in future. But I'm just waiting to. So I'm going to replace these with that. Obviously, keep the blue, and I don't know. It'll evolve over the weeks, and I've still got the wood, the white down here. Brush wise, today I'm still utilising. I'm quite enjoying these evergreen brushes. Remember we were talking about those the other week? They're oil brushes, but I don't know why. They seem quite nice, and the flats, yeah. Well, you go through these stages, don't you? Sky wise, I think we'll start at the top, painting wise, and work our way down. Usual scenario. Can you see that? Okay, or you will when shout if you can't later. I don't know, just for lunch. I don't know what's for lunch today. Oh dear.
Nothing for you.
No, have I been naughty? Sorry. Today I'm just gonna loosen up my white. I've got to try and watch this palette because if I tilt it, all the paint dribbles from one to the other. Of course, I'm in a hell of a mess then. Last week it was all over my hands. I've just started wrong really, but anyway, this clean water on my brush. Can you see this? Is it coming through? I'm not looking at the screen. It's just I've just grabbed the brush and I'm using my right hand because I can really. I don't have a preference. Well, I do have a preference. Left hand's the best one, but sometimes if you've got your left hand's full or your right hand. Here, I had a jab last week. I'm getting like a blooming pinkish. They rang me up. A pneumonia jab.
Oh yeah.
They do it when you get to a certain age, don't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, I've reached it. I tell you what, that jab has knocked me worse than the blooming COVID ones ever did.
It did me when I had mine.
My arm was mega sore. I can still sense it now. And that was last Thursday. Yeah,
I had that reaction when I had it.
I said to Mel, this hurts. And I still carried on doing my press ups and my weights. Maybe that didn't help. I quite like it. I'm not particularly strong, but I notice. I thought I didn't think it was doing anything, doing these sort of exercise things. But every time I put a t-shirt on, the t-shirt's all tight. I think
We'll have a cooler wash next time.
Yeah, I said to Mel, "Do you see the size of my arms?" She just sort of went, hmm? like girls do. And I thought, obviously, I'm impressive now. Jackie Pallow, remember him?
Yes.
That's me, mate. I'm Jackie Pallow of. Anyway,
Very bright.
this,
So that's very bright.
it's the video making it look like that. I put white on the flipping thing first. If you were watching, I did
I saw that.
I did it sort of, but I'm just scrubbing in. Maybe it's the brush. I put a layer of white on because I thought at some point, it's just that blue. It's very, it's called bright blue.
It is as well.
But don't forget, it's still watercolor.
Yeah.
So it'll fade. Well, maybe. But this
Very
is
dramatic picture.
it's well, I decided that this is well, unless you're gonna change my mind, I decided that it was just gonna be a relaxing, fun day picture, not a serious.
It's good.
So at some point, I've got to have a break from these portraits that are really. They're great for the soul, but very perplexing. And they do go on. They don't finish. You never finish them, especially painting it the way that the method that we're using or I'm using. Because I'll show you before we go. Just remind me. Yeah. So I'm hoping this will dry back, but it'll affect the paper. And if we want, just because we got some white there, we can drop in some little fluffy doodah bits while it's damp. And try not to contaminate your white palette. I don't. If you want, you can always start off with raw sienna on the background. Let's get a bit of. That's a nice bit of paper. That. What you can do, if you take a bit of raw sienna, anywhere, and then drop in some blue in amongst it. You can change the colour to the sky to whatever you like. Add some red. Have real fun. I don't care today. There is no right and wrong. I'm not doing that on here because I'll probably come back to it later and add some cerulean because that bright blue is really bright, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice though. It's nice to see a sunny day.
Well, that's cerulean blue's the colour to start with. If you're thinking, but it doesn't matter because I've put white underneath, so I'm pretty confident that at some point when it's dried back, I can add bits and take bits off, which is the reason we use it in the portraits. That method in there, so that when it's finished, I can always dab in a few clouds, or as I more want to do these days, is use the brush and pull them off with the brush. It works much better. You got more control. Just dab. A flat brush is good. Here I'm getting bogged down now in the blooming sky, and I. But yeah, you can lift off. Gives it a little bit of. One of the things I was doing the other day, another technique that I'm going to mention because it's important, is if you get a round brush, obviously I've just put it in water to clean it, just dry it off in your tissue. Sometimes you look at clouds and you think, oh, how do I get that effect? Hold your brush flat, this is quite large, and roll it. Roll it in the sky. Take it off and just keep going. You can roll, if you don't need to press too hard. I was pressing too hard there. And you'll get those. And if you come in from one side and the other side, I'll show you exactly what it does in a sec. So I think I've got a better example with different colours. But if you roll it, just lay it on and roll it while it's wet, you'll get those. They're not cumulus clouds. They're after the storm type clouds. I think I can show you what I'm bleating on about. Yes, I can. Here we go. Remember the Sandown painting we did? I've done it on here.
Oh yeah.
You can see, and what I did was just I rolled the brush and from obviously different angles and lifted it off, and it gives you that really nice effect. Because I did the one that I did on the demo sort of thing, and then I thought, like you do, so I rubbed it all off and done another sky. So that's a work in progress sort of thing, sort of. I think nearly every painting I do on a Tuesday is still stuck on a board waiting to be finished.
The Tuesdays come round too often. I've got time in between.
Yeah, but rolling the brush like that, you get some really lovely effects.
Yeah.
And being watercolour, it'll dry back as well. This one I've put white on first, just for the, well, just I was going to say just for the fun of it, really. Lemon yellow or a light yellow. I'm going to let the sky dry, but meantime, I've got some. I was going to say lemon yellow. I don't think it is lemon. It's just a Terry Harrison bright yellow, really. But as I say, today there is no boundary. Nothing's set in stone. Lemon yellow would be nice though, wouldn't it? Hang on a minute. Over in the other palette, I've got some lemon yellow. Oh, look at the difference. Such a brighter colour. So I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to make a pool of lemon yellow. St. Petersburg lemon yellow, that is. I love those paints. It's all the paint you ever need. One of those, I mean, that box of paints I bought a couple of years ago after telling Pauline to get them. I bought one myself, a big one. I'm still using it now. And most of the pans are still well full. So I'm just deciding. I've put masking fluid where that pathway is. So I'm confident, yeah. That I want that to stay, and it's lemon yellow. I'm going to put it down there and make it a path. This is horrible. I've got no plan in my mind at all. It's really gut feeling, which is what it should be. If you were out there painting it, that's what you'd have to do, isn't it? So, but the lemon yellow in the background, I think, is important. I'm not going to beat about the bush here. I'm going to get my mop. Get the mop. Hello. If you mention mop in this house, Mel's ears crick up. She think, oh, yeah. What's he doing with that? Kitchen floor. Well, the whole floor downstairs is laminate anyway. So if you get the mop out, you've got to do the whole lot. There's no messing. I'm going to put. That was clean water. Mel said something really funny earlier, and I forgot what it was already. And I'm just going to put some dabs of lemon yellow. I'm not putting it up there because there's loads of blue up there. It's raw. What is it? A background? It's going to set the tone, isn't it, for what's coming? Oh, we'll be finished in about 10 minutes. No, we won't, because I got those flowers, am I? Squint your eyes up. Squint your eyes up. And look for colour. Look for colours. Oh, I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. Drop in some of this ordinary yellow. I'm just dropping it in for a minute. It's so I've got golden yellow, isn't it? Or one of cadmium yellow, same difference. Drop some of that in for a minute. No, that was lemon yellow, you twit. Honest, it's like it's worse than Morecambe and Bloody Wise. None of the bloody, please, David. Keep it clean. Sorry, Mum. I can't remember what Mel said earlier, and I thought that's funny. Oh dear. Oh well, it'll come to me. I'm just going to let that drizzle and do whatever it's going to cook to. We've got blue in the sky, so now we can have some fun. Oh, lost my rain brush. Why am I using oil painting brushes after all these years? That's up. Never watched somebody else's demo where they introduce new stuff. Bit of raw sienna, mixing with that yellow. Well, it's not mixing; it's just in the same area of the palette. Now you've got choice now. You've got to pick one tree out at a time, really, haven't we? Or have we? I think that tree there is a bit big, actually. Should have let me sky down a bit more. That's the beauty of doing the portraits the way that, been doing them. Starting to learn to draw better, or I don't know, not particularly learning to draw better. It's just more observation going on, because you're looking at things in a like you are of a portrait. You think, oh yeah, bit extra there on the eye. Make sure you don't. Yeah, you wait till you try this. You'll be doing it. Anyway, these brushes are quite good fun, aren't they? And not being very fine hairs, they're giving it. I'm pushing down and pushing up. They're giving that sort of foliage feel. Bit of raw sienna. What do you reckon now, Carol? Bit of blue. Should we add a bit of? I think is ultramarine. I've got some of that. If I drop that in, what's going to happen? If I drop that on top of here, it's going to give us a. But I want it darker on one side than the other, don't I? Gotta watch it, because we'll end up with winter trees. Oh no. Thought about that. Didn't tell me, did you? Watch it, Dave. You'll end up with winter trees. Anyway, if I do the blue on one side and more darker on the other, that's the trouble. When I always whinge and say, I don't like ultramarine blue, and that's why. Well, this is why. Because when you put it in foliage, it gives that. I'm going to lift a bit off of there. I've got my toilet roll over on the other side, so I can. Again, I'm just rolling that brush. Just didn't want to lift it off the dark side. Just that one there I didn't like. So I'm going to put a little bit more, add a bit of yellow in there. That give me a nice bit of green. Just roll it. Seems to be the theme today, doesn't it? Roll your brush. Roll your brush. Gently over the trees. Oh, I like that. I'm in good form this morning, considering I said I didn't feel very well.
Not doing too bad.
Yeah. One of the colours. Oh, yeah, I have got green in this palette, but I don't know what green it is. I think it's Ooh. Woo! It's green. It's definitely green. I think I'm just done a couple of the trees because I wanted to make them varied. So I'm going to use the fan brush. How long have we got? Should be all right for tea time. Yeah, so I'm just going to use the fan brush and dab in a bit of that, push that viridian type green, isn't it? Don't use it on its own, whatever you do. Yeah, I'm just going to, on the dark side. Oh, that was the wrong colour. That was supposed to have been burnt umber, but it went in the neutral black, which is a bit of a suicide job. Bit of a suicide colour on the tree, but we can still dab them in. And with the fan brush, don't want to put too much detail in yet because I've got the other trees to do. So, gosh, this is supposed to be fun and it's turning into complexity. Complexity. This lisp of mine is getting worse. It's not funny. You get to an old age and you wear out and then your speech starts to go. Oh, I can't cope anymore. Anyway, some more of that. There ain't no right or wrong, but I think if you plan on, like I've done, ooh, Dave, careful, bit of burnt sienna, raw sienna, can always bring it back. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Push the trees. Think foliage. That's what Derek Hudson used to say to me. Push it up and down. If you do that with a brush and push it like that, you'll get the foliage. Just not too hard. Being watercolour, as it dries back, it dries different. Oh, look at that tree there. That looks good. Oh, I hate those things because I end up spoiling them later. It's like doing Cassius Clay last week, wasn't it? Somebody said, "Oh, his forehead looks good." That's a kiss of death, isn't it? Because I'm there thinking I'm gonna do a bit more on his head in a minute, and somebody says, "Oh, the forehead look. The rest of the picture's horrible, but the forehead looks good." Oh my goodness me! I've had it. Losing the plot now, but yeah. All there is, I'm just using what's on the brush that's come from the tree and just lightly teasing it over some of that lemon yellow. There is a method in my madness, sort of. I'm going to leave those other trees while that dries off. Then what? What are we going to do now then? Come on. I'm going to use the fan brush and utilise some of the, if I can find it, there we go. I had a brilliant plan, but it's raw sienna and oh, I've got green in there now. Hang on, I'm just going to dab that off. So I want to go back to a brighter colour, which is raw sienna and cadmium yellow. Any yellow you've got that's different from lemon yellow, because I put a nice lemon yellow base wash down. And look at let's start at the top and work our way down, shall we? And I'm just going to use the fan brush. Take not too much colour, take a bit off, and push it in. Well, I think that looking at that raw sienna is not as nice as I would like. Let's add a bit of lemon yellow into it. There ain't no right and wrong here, but there is. You won't need a lot of paint on the fan brush. Can you see where I'm going here?
Mm.
Oh, I'm glad somebody can. Can you tell me what I do? Can you let me know? No, I'm just building it up slowly, because I'm conscious of time, and I know that I want to. There's a couple of elements like the flower and that's going to take a bit of extra time. So one of the things I was thinking about earlier was to use the brush as a brush and fan. Think grass and just fan it. There is a sort of a thought behind this. So if you think you can pick paint up from the side like I'm doing there and just flick it around, but there has to be quite a bit. It's good, isn't it? It's working ish. Add a bit of greens. So any of the colours that you've started with, don't get too many, as you will get into trouble. I'm conscious of the path as well. I've just spotted that. And use the side, the edge, anything you like. Once you get a good bit going, keep going. Now the other bit is we need some rich green as well. So I'm just going to add some yellow, get a bit of that ultramarine blue in it. So it's giving me a really dark variations is what we're looking for, isn't it? And then introduce this into it. Still not. You think that'd be dark enough when you're looking at the palette, but it isn't. Initially, we're thinking grass. Hey, all flowers grow like grass, don't they? They got stalks and things on them. This is not rough paper, not finished. So I'm not going to spend days painting in blooming plant stalks. There's more to life than that. So I'm thinking Monet. Bonjour, monsieur, my flowers, come see my garden. But gradually build it up. That's all you can do. If you do get a nice bit of dark green, good idea to introduce it over here. Every so often I'm looking at the little reference picture. Not a lot, because it only confuse me. It's like I keep saying all the time, it's your picture. It's up to you what you do with it. But once you get there, it's therapy. This is. That's okay. I'll let that do its biz. Chrissy's going to have a laugh doing acrylics with this. I can sense it.
Mm.
Especially as you're going to do the dark colours first and then add some highlights to it, which is going to make life really interesting. Let me just get my brush back. My go-to brush at the moment. I'm going to add a little bit of white down here. It's watercolour. You're not allowed to use white. Shut it. Go away. Of course I am. Now I just wanted to, before I put any more detail on it's a lovely yellow, but I haven't got it. It's it's not lemon yellow, it's another yellow. So I'm just going to I put white on it deliberately to try and, I think what I might do, I've got a bit of burnt sienna here. Just put it over there. Teasing a little bit of blue to it. Don't need a lot of space. Gives me a sort of a greyish tint. I'm just going to add that along there. Blue and burnt sienna. What's it give us, Carol? Grey. Stone. Stone colour. That's what it gives us. Well, it needs to be there as a sort of background to the path. But when it's dry, it doesn't matter anyway, because I'm going to overpaint it at some stage. Hard work this is, building all this lot up. Especially as I've still got a flipping great load of trees at the back to sort out. Well, the other ones should have dried off, shouldn't they? Slip of the hand there. I'm just going to quickly blob them in. So I was going to bring the sky down a bit on a couple of places, but I think I'll just persevere with what I've done now. This is a bright yellow tree over here, isn't it? The only reason I've done it this way is because I know the palette would change or develop slightly, and I just wanted some variations on the trees really. Let's do a George. Add the darks in. Give me some blue. Yeah. Give me some yellow. Yeah. Raw sienna. Add a tint of that green in it. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Just take a bit. Always good to have the edge of the paper in it. Then I can just squish it in. I'm just going to go and roll a brush over around on the dark side. On the dark side. If you can get some bird holes in, all well and good. But if you just roll it, that was just a load of dark. Did you see that? It was just raw sienna, bit of blue, and that was it, wasn't it? Bit of there's some of the viridian green colour that I've got there, just to make it definitely green. Don't want it too dull, do I? Because it's not winter. But I thought it would be, well, the plan was to get a different green. But if you roll the brush, you'll get the random sort of feel of the foliage. I've got some COVID test kits here if you need them.
Maybe one down the wire, will you?
Yeah. I've got used to doing it now. I can do it in minutes, really. It's just like whoosh, 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 done. It's still the fascinating bit is still getting a swab off your tonsils. Oh, that cheers me. It's one of those things. Close your eyes and go for it. What I've discovered, it's a bit off topic, but who cares? What I discovered was, if you hold the swab, which is quite long, isn't it? It's about 6 inches long. If you hold it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the end, that's as far in as you want to go. Because if you got something that 6 inches long and you got to put it in and touch your tonsils, you sort of lose track of how far it is. Next thing you know, you think, oh, ow, ooh. Well, it's not an ow. It's more of a, you sort of, going to be sick. Beam me up, Scotty. Is that it? Time up? Can I go now?
There's only a text.
Only a text. It might be from Mark Phillips asking you to buy a card.
No, just my son.
Or Terry. The amount of time he's mucking about with his phone, somebody's going to crash him for sure. Bless him. Are you there, Terry? I can hear you talking about me. Sorry, mate. There's too much green in this. I'm losing the plot. It's all going pear-shaped. I just know. But our secret weapon, if there is one, saving grace, call it what you like. I'm hoping, anyway, I'm I'm praying are the bits that I've masked out, because they're going to be the what do you call it? The focus.
Yeah.
They're going to change the whole thing. Oh, what's the problem on a? It's not a problem. It's nice. It's just one of the things that one of the issues that you got is the way I paint normally. Hence the reason I've got a whole wodge of paintings I class as still need work on. Is I tend to, when I'm relaxed doing it myself, I'll be doing. I'll do a bit, an area, and then go away and come back and do a bit more. You know, let it dry, come back, let it dry, come back, do a bit more. See if I can scratch in a few bits on these trees, maybe. So if you bear that in mind, bit of scratching. I'm determined this is going to be fun. I'm not going to let it beat me up today. If I get a crummy painting out of it, I don't care. Well, I don't. And the other thing is, because now we're professional portrait painters, we ain't got we have no fear whatsoever. We have no fear. There's nothing on a painting that we can't fix. Come on, back us up here. Come on, girls and board.
Oh dear.
If I got some real, I don't know where that brush has come from. Dear, oh dear, Dave. But yeah, I think if we can have fun with the background, I've just put some scratchy bits. I've just scratched it a few bits, but if you get some real darks, remember the real dark side is on the left. Not sure about this flat brush. What's that? Is he got a bar open? He's just changed the barrel.
He's just a noisy person, that's all. He's just sighing.
Can I have a pint? A lager? No, I don't like lager anymore. IPA. India Pale Ale. Remember that? India Pale Ale.
Yep.
I spent half my blooming life as a kid working in bars. Walking home at 11:30 after hours, thinking, oh, that was a good night.
I said, look at those trees now. They're really looking like.
Are they any good?
Yeah, very good.
Well, I'm trying to add some more darks, and I've just tried to keep the dark on that funny side, the right hand side.
When I do that, it just goes muddy and horrible.
Well, they're starting to now, actually, Anne. So I'm not going to do much more to them. But while I've got the dark bit in the paint, in the palette, I'm just having a bit of fun. Like I said, I keep saying it, and today I'm coming up trumps.
Looking good.
Wow, it's all right.
Well, yeah, I didn't like to say that.
Just not get too excited. One of the things I was thinking of doing is these stalk things. It reminds me of that one we did with the castle. Remember the things at the front, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's an exercise in controlling how you feel about the brush. And what I'm going to do now is try and find some dark bits and some more lemon yellow. I'm going lemon yellow. So It's a lovely colour, isn't it? And it's not real. It's not real watercolour either. It's I'm just going to drop some bits in at random. You could almost shut your eyes, especially if you've got masking fluid on. Oh, it's only acting as a background. Oh, come on, look, this is therapy. Therapy. I quite love it. I'm enjoying this now. Sort of. Well, it's an exercise in colour. I think the sky, Anne was right from the get-go. It's a bit too what's it?
Too what?
Too. It could have been plainer. So my tip for you guys is find a tube of cerulean blue and utilize that as the sky. You start with cerulean and see what happens.
I quite like the strong sky with the strong trees.
Yeah, it might.
You had to have strong trees to contrast it. It's good.
As I say, there is no real get-go plan. Well, I don't think it. On reflection, Anne, I can't recall any of my paintings having a get-go plan.
That's true.
For all the best will in the world, I stand there thinking beforehand, thinking I do a sketch like I did today, and I do this and I do that, and I think, right, that's what. Yeah, I've got it clear in my head. And I was thinking earlier, I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll write some notes down, so I know, a little roadmap almost. That would have been a total waste of time.
It would.
I'm just going to cover that.
No chance whatsoever.
That bit of the path up here, a bit more of the yellow, but it looks busy. But I haven't used that many colours. Well, I ain't got that many in there, and I've only used burnt umber, raw sienna, that yellow, and introduced some yellow, lemon yellow. That's about it, really. And I went in the neutral tint by mistake, which gave me some real darks. But at this stage, it's that funny stage of a picture where really what we've done is had some fun and blocked in, ready for some finer, well, I was going to say once it's dry, some rigor work later. But while I'm at it, I'm going to cover the top up because I'm getting hungry. It must be lunchtime. No, I'm joking. Here we go. I'm going to move that. I've got a waste paper bin here. Where do you want to go over there? Yeah, all right. No, go there. Oh, I don't want to put it too far down on the floor because I've been standing up and I'm bending down as a bloody nightmare now. My legs are gone. Right, what was I going to do? Right, that blue is quite nice, isn't it? So I'm going to tidy up maybe this area of the palette. I ain't got no fear today. I'm going to get that bit of paper. Here I go, here I go, here I go. Get me little. I better not use that toothbrush. It's got masking fluid on it. I don't know. Might add to the to the effect. Anyway, I'm just going to. It's just dampen it. Remember that blue that I used right from the off for the sky. Just see what happens. I just caught my eye on the video, see if it was still working. I've added a little bit of that rose on there, just see what happens. Oh yes, here we go. Flower. We got flowers.
Pouring flowers everywhere.
Split. Oh, could be tops of flowers. I got my clothes hanger here. I bet that's got covered in. I've got guitar over there as well. I bet it's gone all over that, and that's miles away. Does it every time? I used to do this in the conservatory, thinking, ain't going nowhere, ain't going to hurt anything out here. What a twit. It goes, yeah. You think you're spattering quite locally and it ends up going for miles. Depends how much water you put in, of course. But you need some opacity as well. So I might, no, not might, I'm going to add a dollop of white in there, in amongst, just amongst that blue, to make the colour a little bit more opaque when it goes on. Oh, this is going to be fun. Dear, oh dear.
If only care.
Look at them babies. Well, no, because I'm pretty confident that that blue will stay a little bit when it dries. It won't go so. Yeah, I've got any troubles. I've got where you spatter. You went one. I use my little thing, my whatever that finger is, the one off the index next to the thumb, as a flicker, and of course it gets covered in paint. So I've got to wipe it off because the next colour is I'm going in with the whatever colour that was, lemon yellow. Lemon yellow. Come on, you were watching. You knew what that was, and I'm just going to spatter that all over the flipping shop now. God, this is certainly therapy. And then find some real dark green in my palette. Bit of blue in amongst the doodah. Real dark green. Bit not that dark. It's got to be actually green. You know, if you can get it green. Don't want it blued. Doesn't matter. I'm only looking to put in some. I think you better do this outside, you lot.
Yeah,
You got posh furniture.
yeah, all over the beige carpet.
Man, Joyce's Brian having a coronary, like.
Absolutely, yeah.
Joyce, what are these little black bits on the on the coffee table? Oh dear. I don't know. Dave told me to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just got carried away. I don't know what the heck's going to happen. I've got to add some red in here now, whatever happens. I think when it's dry, the last I'm going to use, I'll use some, actually I'll have some ordinary red, but whack it in amongst the raw. Told you this is going to be fun. In amongst the sort of yellow bit in the palette. But you have to get the right sort of content. Even this looks simple, but it isn't that simple because you've got to get the right consistency between paint and water so that when you flick, you notice I put the sheet at the top so I can practice. You need to get the paint and water mix consistency sort of such that when you flick, it does actually come off. Otherwise, oh, that's it, Dave. Well done. And flick them on. Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Oh God!
I can imagine Monet thinking he's out there watching me, going, "Bonjour, monsieur. Well done, my little English French boy. My little roast beef." So they always call us roast beef, don't they?
Yeah.
When you take it away, you should get some semblance of what we're looking for, but it ain't finished as yet, as we know, because we've got our detail pieces here, which is going to need and the last bit is to flick some white and some lemon. Oh, look at that. It's even gone in my palette.
Oh,
Mel's gonna murder me. Hairdryer. 2 secs. Oh, hang on. Oh dear. Well, I have to dry it off. Oh, blimey. I've got some big blobs in. Oh, they're squishing all over. Oh my. Oh. I've got big blobs of paint dribbling, drizzling. Oh, what? This is amazing. Whose idea was it to put white in with the blue? It's just sat there looking at me. Saying, I'm not going to dry. It's amazing. I don't know what's in that paint. It's got like a... Could be a long day. Nah, that'd be all right. There's a big run back there, which I think is going to be some sort of leaf effect. Oh, this has been great fun. Well, I'm placing a lot of my bets on the bits that I've masked out. But I did consider earlier treating those areas that I've masked out like I do the portraits, and painting them. Oops, hang on, let's move that palette off. I'm drying all the paint in my palette. What was I saying? Yeah, and painting the darks first, and then introducing white to for the highlights. So might give that a go on the poppy. See what happens. 2 secs. There's a big blob of blue here. Oh, I love it. Imagine if, Chris, you're going to have well of a time in acrylics because your colours are going to be more opaque. Not much, well, quite a bit more intense.
It's going to pop.
It should. But you've got to be careful. You don't want it to overcook. Otherwise it will look a bit, I don't know, not contrived. What's the word? Overpopped. You know.
Yeah.
We don't do our Argos. We want art. Us. Artos, not Argos. I think I'm dry. Not that bit. I don't think I've got anything to rub around there, so I'll get away with that. Right, stop. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. Right, so I've got the path at the top, and a few flat. Oh my gosh, this is where you rub the tops off your fingers, Carol. Forgot to tell you about that bit.
Yeah.
Well, I deliberately masked the whole of the poppy. Well, I thought I did, but it looks like some of the paint's got through. Well, it doesn't matter. Unless it is really dried on hard. That's okay. Apart from that, I'm getting bits of rubber everywhere. All over my nice, clean work table. Artist table. What I did buy a few years ago now. That was fun. I thought it was buy one get one free. Well, I bought one, but they sent two, or something like. Yeah, they sent two. So I remember. That's right. Yeah. So I wrote to them saying, I didn't want 2 anyway, really. But sometimes these things, if it does go like that, the cost of them retrieving it is more. It's just not worth the hassle. So I did email them saying, look, I don't really want to, but if you want, I'll give you, I don't know what it was. I think there were 200-300 quid or something, but I'll give you 50 quid for the second one. Nah, they weren't playing with that. Well, sometimes it's happened in the past where they've said, oh, don't worry, just keep it, just forget it. When it's not always been small items, sometimes it's quite large ticket items, you know. It was a sensible offer. It might have been, it wasn't daft offer. I'm just using 50 quid as an example. No, I think I'm getting there with this. Apart from this bloody masking fluid. And of course, I'm having to keep rubbing because remember right from the start, I splattered some masking fluid on to show Carol a different way of using it.
Yeah. Is it coming off?
Yeah.
Oh, I find if you paint over it, it doesn't come off very easy.
You just got, yeah. I'll keep finding. I'm putting my hands over it, and I can find. It doesn't matter if the odd bit stays, but yeah, I keep finding some more. We can see what's happening. It's adding little highlights, which was my plan from the.
Where's go?
For the, yeah. See, 2 have just turned up there. If you just rub your hand around, you'll feel where they are, and I still intend to. I thought they were bits of blue, but they're not. They're yeah. Still finding a couple. They're lovely. It really works. That adds a little bit of. Reminds me of my front drive. I think it was a couple of years ago. I've got a gravel drive, and they didn't put any weed preventer or anything on the bottom like you'd normally do these days. So it was getting a bit yucky. So I went out there with a box of wild flower seeds and threw the lot over it. So the front of my drive now, it looks like it ain't far off of this.
Good idea.
Well, I can sense the neighbours thinking, what's he doing now? But there you go. I've rubbed most of them off. Next stage, before everybody runs off to lunch, is should we do where's the paint? I've lost my paint. Oh no, I'll put it over there. Stop it getting air dried. Right. I'm start with this brush. This is a number 5, rosemary, evergreen, pointed round. I don't know why. Well, it seems to work for me. So that's a bit of lemon yellow. Poppies are us. So I'm going to add some lemon yellow. I still think at some point I'm going to add white into this. Lemon yellow's gone green, but there you go. Work that one out. Add some ordinary yellow to it, perhaps. But it's one of those things that I sometimes forget to do.
The artificial poppies of yellow.
I really only need to look out the window because I've got loads of them out there. I've got rose red, so I can dollop that in while it's wet. Conscious of for this occasion, I'll follow the lead from the trees. I'll add a bit of. I'm going to be brave here. A bit of blue. to one side, wash my brush off, and then smooth the other side off, see what happens. Try and get some sort of, what's the word, feeling in it, shadowy tone. But as I say, I'm going to let that. When it dries back, I can add more red and some white into it and let it just lift. Seems to be that I said earlier that the theme today is roll the brush, dab it off. Oh, I've run out of tissue here. Dab it off and just roll it. Let the paint do the work. Let the water run it through. If you just gently roll it, you might get some nice random areas. Bear in mind, you're going to put I'm trying to keep the left-hand side. No, that's the right-hand side, Dave. The right-hand side darker if I can, with more colour. As I say, won't know until I put the bit in the middle, then it'll change completely. I think that I've gone a bit too red over there, too yellow. As I say, I do care. I shouldn't say I don't care. I'm having fun, but I do care. I'm going to add a little bit more white into my little all over my fingers. See, I'm getting excited now. I'm trying to rush. I can sense it. I'm going to put some white. I'm going to be lucky to get away with this because the red's going to spill into the white. We need some of that. What colour is that? Sort of a purpley colour, isn't it? Which is red and blue. Should do it. Just dab it in, see what happens. Bit more dark on some areas, and it's still soft. I painted it white, didn't I? To start off with.
Yeah.
Might need to add a few more interesting darks when it dries back. Let's go back to the next one. There's a few of these, aren't there? So I'm just going to quickly dab white in them. I think they'll all work with a dab of white. Something happened there. I do that sometimes when it melts around. It makes her go, oh my God. Someone does that when you're driving. You just sort of do a random, oh my, talk about get a thump. Dear, oh dear. Hey, got to have a laugh, haven't you? Right, that's blue, I don't care. I'm going to dab it in the middle and let it spread. Look for the darker side. Drop it in because it's wet paint, isn't it? So, that one's looking all right now. I can work with that. And then, as I say, my theme today is put it on and roll it off. It's funny, isn't it? You paint something totally different, like the sky. It's what's fascinating thing about this about painting, isn't it? You do something somewhere it's totally different in a different painting, different world, different everything, and you think, do you know what? That worked. And now I've done the trees, just rolling the brush. Now I'm doing these petals on the flowers, lifting it off just by rolling it across and wiping it in the tissue. And it gives you that sort of, look at that one there, that's good that. If I say so myself, it's that time of day now, I've got to big it up. Tell them it's working. Don't tell them. Don't show frailty. Now the next bit, I've put white on all of those flat. Do you know what? I'm getting excited now. You can always tell I'm happy. I haven't started whistling, but I can feel a whistle coming. You know, you always tell when Dave's going. Actually, it's not true. It's when I'm concentrating. I start to whistle. What a strange person I am. I'm just going to add some yellow. I'm not painting with my hand, by the way. I'm doing what I've practiced. I'm painting with my arm. The brush, my hand isn't doing that. My arm is doing that. And up and it's such a better way to paint. If you depends on what stage the painting are, but if you're drawing, yeah, well, you might need to do that. There's some instances on here where we get our little rigger out. Hi, everybody was waiting for the rigger. Yes, he's still there. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's on it. It's gone. Oh, it's nearly poked a hole in me palette. Must have forgot to clean it off. You know, you do that, you forget to dry it off. Now, exactly the same thing. Move your arm, not, and you can just add some darks in. Just look at what you see. Find some extra elements in the petals. You're not going to do this in 5 minutes. You're going to have to do a bit, go away, let it dry, and then come back and look for the dark areas in the petals. They're not really dark, are they? They're sort of eye holes to the ground behind. Love it, and just tease them out. Tidy it up later at some point after you've had your croissant and cheese roll. Of course, the big thing is the poppy. It might be a bit wet at the moment, but it's got that sort of beautiful cross shape in the middle, hasn't it? I did, when I was sketching it, I thought that's interesting. I'll go and later on today. I'll go and have a look outside at my poppy and see if it's got that on it, or what sort of effect it is. Because it's really damp, the poppy at the moment, on the painting, I mean, I've got the option of, I'm not really painting the poppies, I'm just painting the shape, looking for the shape, that's all. And because it's, I can't see what's what on the picture, I'm just putting clean water on the brush and soften that down towards the edge and using that as a shadow. But if you can zoom in on the computer, you can see where it's dried, it's forming, or as it's drying, you can see that there's some folds appearing, and this is just a sort of a dark bluey green that's in the palette from earlier. But it's a bit like waves when we do the waves. You sort of, that was a bit much, that one. If you can see, just soften it down, see what happens. Paint what you feel as well as what you see. When it's dry, we can add a bit more. Maybe I'll add a bit anyway, just on one side. Loving that, getting there. What a morning this has been. I know I've been mucking about, but I am thinking serious as well. I'm still trying to remember what it was Mel said earlier. I'll have to email that one. I think these flowers where they meet they've got stalks on them as well. But as it dries, I can see like little bits of edge that I'm just poking on. Same with all of them. As they dry back, can add some sort of shadowy petal lines. Too dark. Steady. They're definitely drying with some little lines on them. Love it. I really enjoyed that. God bless me.
Yeah, it's not the shape, is it?
Just adding. As I say, I think when it dries, I'll add some more solid white, clean water, and the rigger, clean white. I'll do a crissibescent on it, and just start putting some. That'll go over the poppy. Solid. If I put solid white on it, you'll get the gist, and it'll change the dynamic. The poppy will fall back then, so you can just add some. Change the context of it and make it go back. The next thing I was thinking about, I tried to do it earlier on, but it sort of didn't work. Well, it needs to be more of it, is to using the fan brush, add more darks in amongst the foliage, because you ain't got time, or I don't think there's need. That's just raw sienna, blue, and a hint of that green. Any green will do. Any green will do. Sort of Joseph. I've mixed it again there. It's just blue, raw sienna, and a dab of green. It gives us that sort of it's dark, but you can also add some burnt umber to it, so it goes darker. Tone it down, and then just this is the foreground area, isn't it? So using the brush, we can add some of these lovely dark bits. They're not what's the word? They're not branch twigs as such. They're just dark areas within it. If you want to paint them in, you can use the rigger in the same context. Mine's got white on it, but add a bit of burnt umber in there. That's the trouble with if you introduce white to the palette, it does tend to contaminate all the paint. It doesn't dilute it, it sort of opacitized it. Oh, I remember what Mel said. Oh, this is. I remember. I love it when my brain works. Not often, don't happen often, does it? I said she was in the kitchen. I said I'll be down in a minute, get a cup of tea, a top up. I said because I'm, especially if I'm talking a lot, my voice will go. She said, "Yeah, you got to keep your voice liquidized." What? I thought that was for Mel. That was spot on. I thought it was a classic.
Very good.
Malapropism. This is personal preference now. You can play with the background and tease in your trees as much as you like. This picture is quite damp now, so as per usual at this stage.
I'm going to put some more poppies in.
Some more what?
Poppies.
Poppies? Yeah. But as I say, it's so damp at the moment.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'm just so if it won't sit. Yeah, there is red there, and they are there, but yeah, my plan was to, or is, and will be, as it dries, when it's dried off, I've still got hints of them there, but using this brush, which is quite nice, you can just dab it. If you just, where's that bit of paper gone I had earlier? Hang on. Oh, there's another bit here. Good artist always has lots of spare bits of paper. But yeah, with these brushes, if you can just squish it on and it forms a sort of shape, a flower shape. Especially, I haven't got my reading glasses on anyway, so I can't see what they are. But yeah, this is personal stuff now. Where what you want. And the other thing I said that I want to do is using the lemon yellow, almost neat, do exactly the same thing with that brush, and introduce some really bright yellow, almost there. But you can see as it dries, I can add some of those, and introduce more white with those little oxeye daisies. Oxeye, isn't it? It'd be an ox, eh? The other thing that before we get too enamored in was the two figures. I think if I'll have a look at the picture that I gave. Yeah, but this bit depends on. I'm sat down now. Woohoo! It depends on your feeling and overall. It is wet. It is soaking wet.
Oh no.
But anyway, you can. Well, don't matter. I'll paint them yellow. Then add in some dark shape. Lift my eyes up, might be able to see. Not sure how. I think a little bit of red would be nice. If I do the parasol or something, if I add a bit of lemon yellow. This needs to be done when it's dry, so that you get a nice hint of. I'm going to muck it up a bit more solid, but you get the gist. That when it's dried off, I can't even put my hand on that; it's so wet. And then find a bit of shadow, which is burnt sienna. I think in this instance anyway, I'm going to add a bit of burnt sienna to that that blue. That'll give me a sort of a dark colour, shadowy colour, and just run a bit a shadow across the path bit where they are. But that I don't want to spoil it and do everything. I want you to use your own judgment and have a bit of fun. Same with that tree over there. If you want to mix up some shadow, just add that blue, some blue and that purpley colour, Algerian crimson, and lots of water. Cool. Mine's gone a bit. What's the word? I've got a lot of paint on it, and there's some there where that tree is, isn't there? We could add a bit of shadow, and same in the background here as well. Introduce a bit in there, and you could add it, put it in your trees, add a few. Oops, yeah, that'll work. At the bottom, a few trunks, and just try and pop it into life. Yeah. Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Got them?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
What time is it? Anybody got the time?
12:22.
Oh no! What did I say?
5-minute job.
Yeah.
There's a few bits that, when it's dried, we can have a tease, lift off some of this, change that sky to make it a little bit lighter, because I don't like it. It's too much. If I put a mount on it, it might look a bit more. I don't know, really. Sometimes. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I quite like it. It's captured a bit of feel, and I think looking at it, I'll probably I'll zoom in on the screen, have another look at the poppy and maybe try and tease out some lights, some detail. And same with these flowers, neat white when it's dry. And that one, I've lost them there. See that they need to come back. The only way I'm going to do that is use some permanent gouache and just make it white again and tease it back. Other than that, it's not a bad hour's work. That I think we can.
Very good.
We can lift off. Well, the variety of work that we're going through. 1 minute we're doing portraits. I'll just lift that off because it's looking a bit too, well, something to play with that.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Lovely.
I'm happy. Well, I think the idea and the notion's right. Right, it looks bluer than it is in reality. I think you'll have some fun, which is what I want you to do. Go away from portraits. Oh, by the way, before we rush off, I found another portrait to do.
Oh,
We got Clint Eastwood next.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hang on, I'm going to share this. I thought we could go really big. Hang on, share screen. Where are you? We'd go really big and go for.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
You see that there?
Oh,
No.
Joyce's jaw just hit the floor.
It did, yes.
Well,
I think actually I'm going away that week.
I think we'll all go away that
Isn't
week.
that the week I'll go with you?
We get enough headaches.
Hilarious.
That's what we're doing.
Anyway, well,
Made us laugh anyway.
so somebody better tell me, better give me another, better email me another
Subject.
Yeah.
No, we like the Mona Lisa.
Oh no. Well, you
My
can do
my
it.
cousin has already painted it. It's lovely.
Oh.
You have your own Mona Lisa at home.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It does look nice.
You can play about. Kathy sent me something on Facebook, and it's where you can picture yourself, and it's her face. Mona Lisa.
Oh right.
Oh my goodness. I bet that's fun.
It's come out, picture it or something. It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
Illusions of grandeur.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we both turned ourselves into Mona Lisa. It's quite
Yeah.
funny. Anyway, I'm sat here with my legs tightly crossed, and I'm thinking the same. So
Yeah.
I'm going to.
We'll see you next week.
Yes. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, doing well.
Okay.
Have a good week.
Yeah. Okay then.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, use the hand. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dave. It's great.
Yeah, thanks a
I'll
lot. Bye.
switch the fish back on
Thank
now.
you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
You've left Dave on there.
Your turn.
He's still talking. Right.
Can't get rid of it. Rename, mute audio, start video. Come on. Help.
He's laughing.
You can't hear me, can you, Dave? Hello. Unmute my audio with all. Ah, right.